Hello everyone. Thanks for coming and giving me a chance to talk to you. My name is Nicholas Robert Hasenbalg, but my friends, family, and pretty much everyone except for my doctors calls me Cole. I live in the small town of Danville, Pennsylvania. We're known for two things. Number one, we have more doctors per capita than anywhere else in the world. Basically, small town, big hospital. Second, we have the widest non-navigable river in the world, the Susquehanna. Basically super wide, but very shallow. Since the first thing people usually want to know is what my plan is when I grow up, I'll address this first. I don't know yet. As far as career goes, my focus lies somewhere between business marketing and professional counseling. So like I said, I don't know yet. And of course, this is bound to change based on my future college experience and what I like to call the Jonah effect. What's the Jonah effect, you might ask? The Jonah effect refers to when a person plans on going one way when God calls you to go the other way. Anyhow, I'm here to share a theme that runs throughout my life. Apparently, I failed my first test. It's called the APCAR test, and supposedly, I failed it because I was born blue. The umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck a couple of times, cutting off my ability to breathe. Fortunately, doctors were able to save me. Unfortunately, that was not the end of my struggles as a baby. Unknown to my parents at the time, I was born with one of the worst cases of pediatric sleep apnea the doctors had seen. This meant I stopped breathing for dangerously long periods of time, especially when I was laid flat to sleep. My mom knew something wasn't right, because I rarely slept, unless I was lying on her chest. After having to have surgery, the doctors told my mom it was likely the rhythm of her heartbeat would remind my little body to breathe. Her willingness to hold me all the time is what kept me alive. Thanks, Mom. Looking at my early childhood, generally I was a very happy, non-athletic sort of kid that preferred playing inside. My parents had me do the stereotypical kids soccer and basketball to help me stay somewhat active and learn teamwork. I discovered I always got winded when sprinting in these sports. But eventually I learned I could run pretty long distances and still keep a conversation going when jogging with my mom. Later, in my preteen years, I became more active and eventually chose sports that required a lot more endurance and training. I grew taller and increasingly fit. Somewhere along the line, I went from being a non-athletic inside kind of kid to becoming a successful endurance athlete in 3 varsity sports: cross-country, distance track, and swimming. Although running and swimming use different muscles, we can all agree they're both great for cardio. The ability to breathe well while running and swimming long distances has, ironically, become my greatest strength and what sets me above some of my fellow athletes. God's definitely shown himself strong in what was my greatest weakness. As I take time to reflect on my story, specifically the role of breath and breathing, I'm reminded of the following verses. The Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. In Job 33 and 34, I found these verses. The Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty gives me life. And if he withdrew his spirit and breath, all humanity would perish together, and mankind would return to the dust. These verses remind me that it's God who gives us our very breath. Breath is the essence of God's presence, and he's the one who decides if it will be taken away. I also believe God desires us to use the air we breathe for good purposes, which is why I'm here, introducing myself in this way. I want to testify about the awe-inspiring Creator, who's the very life breath of my story. I want people to learn and grow by sharing their life experiences. God uses every part of our lives, even the struggles, for his plan. In conclusion, God works through all situations to fulfill his purpose. It's God who saved my life as a child. It's God who gave wisdom to the doctors and to my mom to keep me alive when I was young. It was God who gave me the ability to run, swim, and endure. It's God's very breath that gave me life, and it is Him who sustains my life. So, it is Him I praise for life. And we know that all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose, even failing your first test. Thank you for your time and attention. Have a good evening.